could see the smoke coming out of the house, and I could see the black windows. And as I came round the corner, I could see a fire behind the ranch sliders. I had a big axe just here by the wheelbarrow full of wood, and with that axe I was able to just yank the fire out onto the concrete here, this concrete patio. We had a TV cabinet right here, and the fire had gone around the wall and down the next curtain and was burning in the corner here. Not quite so fiercely, and I was able to get that out. It was pretty frantic just trying to get those flames out. And once the flames were out and I had the embers out, I felt safe enough to run down to the neighbours and have them call the fire brigade.
It's a pretty slow trip. You've got to come down through a gorge and grind your way up the other side with a tank full of water. It's not very fast.
Mike said it was 20 minutes from when he rang to when we got here.
The jib had held the fire out really well, and the only way the fire was getting through the corner there was a towtra beading along there, and that had burnt right through. But we had a smoke alarm just up here, and that had completely burnt up and was sliding down the wall.
Never quite got into the ceiling and got going. It scorched the top plate, but yeah, it was just so close to going.
Our life was turned upside down really. All of a sudden we had to live in a room in the back of the house, which luckily we had because we couldn't live in the house, and we couldn't very well go and stay in a motel. We had to be here to run the farm. So it's been difficult to say the least really. The damage was just unbelievable because it was really a very small fire, but the smoke damage and the soot damage was quite extensive.
Life had to go on, you know, and actually the farm had to be the first priority. The fire was on a Monday. On that weekend we had 13 inches of rain and cold and wet and sheep dying everywhere. You know, it was just, you know, it was very intense.
Fires, of course, probably always happen in the winter, but that was some of it. It was hard to keep the house warm, so you'd be out in the pouring rain and the cold and what have you, and then have to come back to a pretty cold house. There was a few days there where it was not very pleasant at all.
The insurance people said in the very beginning, we don't know when we'll be able to get you back to normal. It's going to be at least 3 months because tradesmen don't want to come out this far, and it's a housing boom at the moment, you know, they've got other work. So we've been really lucky to get tradesmen, and so things have gone quicker than they might have. I mean, we thought we were fairly careful people, but something we've been doing for 20 years all of a sudden went wrong. You know, the same sort of routine that we were doing. And you don't think about every little move you make each day and how dangerous that could be. But just the fact that, you know, you built up, and we've been married 25, 26 years, you know, you built up all of these things, and now I feel like, okay, if we have a fire, there's going to be some things ruined from water, that's inevitable, but we're not going to lose the whole house. We're not going to have to be out of the whole house for as long as we have been, you know. It wasn't the actual damage of the fire, it was the damage of the heat and the smoke that was the worst for us. And of course with sprinklers, that's not going to happen, is it? It's going to put the fire out before there's that kind of damage.
When you start to try and look at it as a life being protected, or your photographs being protected, and all your little precious objects you've got, 2,000–3,000 really doesn't sound a great deal. When you actually come to write out the cheque, obviously it'll hurt slightly, as it always does. But the peace of mind, I think, would make it well worthwhile. You can fully protect your home with smoke alarms and a sprinkler system for a relatively modest amount. And as a rural dweller, that's about the most you can do, and that will give you tremendous peace of mind. You of course can take all the other precautions in the country in terms of where you light your fires and how you light your fires, and just give it a little bit of forethought. But at the end of the day, because you're so often away from your house, really it's a sprinkler system that's giving you the huge peace of mind.